Welcome to Code Snippets, Tutorial 2, Timeline Navigation. I have a new FLA opened. In layer 1 I'm going to call Frame Number. FRAMNUM. And select that first frame. Pick up your text tool. Doesn't matter what we have, just put some numbers in here. We'll just make them a good size number though. There, 36-ish. Put a 1 in here. Frame 2, insert keyframe. Change it to a 2. Third frame, 3. We'll do 6. Insert a keyframe. There's the fourth frame. Insert a keyframe, 5th. And insert a keyframe, 6. 6. So now if we just tested that very quickly, we just run through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. There, really fast. So let's just slow it down a little bit to 10 frames a second right here, frame rate, and change it from 24 to 10, and it will be just a bit slower to our eyes. Alright, lock that layer. Make a new layer, call it button, B-U-T-T-O-N, and pick up your rectangle or oval tool, whichever you have selected. Make sure you have frame 1 selected, and there's this rectangle. Selection tool, highlight it, modify, convert it to a symbol. Make sure button is selected in the drop down menu, and we'll call this BUTTON 1_MC, just in case there's more than one button. Copy that name. It's still highlighted. Open the properties panel. There's the button, and we're going to give it that same instance name. Paste that in. Now that it's selected, open the actions panel. If you don't have it here, open Windows up, call it up, and I suggest what you do is you take it, click on that black area and put it up there, because you'll be using it a lot. Click Code Snippets, and we're doing this timeline navigation. Stop at this frame. Well, we may as well do it. Double click on it, and it puts the code stop in here. So now naturally when we test it out, if I look back at timeline in this action frame, that it created this layer for us, and in this first frame of the actions layer it put in that stop. So naturally when I test my movie, all we're going to see is the 1. It's not moving. So that's a simple one. Open the actions panel, code snippets again, go to and stop. Go to a frame and stop. So let's click on this one once. Click on this thing. It tells us clicking the object moves the playhead to the specified frame and stops. Replace the number 5. So there's the code we want, and all we're going to do is change this instance name here, and I think we called it BUTTON 1_MC. We called it that, and let's, since we want to do something, let's have it go to and stop on frame 4. So when the button's pressed, it'll go to and stop on frame 4. Insert that, and there's that code for us. When button 1 is pushed, it's going to create this function which will go to and stop on frame 4. I'm going to see if I can get rid of all this. Stop at a frame, that's good. Remember, if that turns blue, you can't do this. Stop at a frame. There, that should work. That and that are the same. Let's test this movie. And no errors. When I click this, it jumps to frame 4 and stops. Okay. Let's go back to that action code. code snippets again, action panel, and let's go to and play this time. So now we're going to have to need another button. So let's close that for a minute, go back to the main timeline, select that frame 1 of the buttons layer, and open the library. The library should be right here. If not, open up the window, library, and do the same thing. I would drag it in here. Let's drag this button on the stage, and while it's highlighted, let's call this button 2. BUTTON 2 underscore MC. I'm calling him MC. I usually use BTN, but I'm going to use MC. Underscore MC. I normally use BTN for buttons, but it makes no difference. And select the action. Select that button. Select the actions layer, first frame. Open the actions panel. Go back to the code snippets. And let's go to a frame and play this time. Go to an action is required on the stage. I thought we had that selected. No, we probably didn't. So select it. Double click. Here we go. And let's see what this one says. It's a go to and play. So let's say play from frame. Just makes it shorter. Play from frame. And let's jump to frame 2. Oh, 3. So now let's see. Test the movie. No errors. When I hit this one takes us to frame 4. This one takes us to frame 3 and plays. Jump to frame 3 and plays. And when it gets back to frame 1, it's told to stop. Now let's do something for a minute. Let's slow this rate down. This frame rate, let's go 1 frame per second and see exactly what's happening here. There's no problem here. This is going to jump to frame 4 and stop. But this one is supposed to jump to frame 3. Okay, now notice you don't actually ever see a frame 3 because it jumps into frame 3 and frame 3 automatically tells it to go to frame 4. See that? So it's going to frame 3 and play him. Let's go back to the actions panel, see what else is in here. Code snippets. Oh, this one's here. Previous and next. Okay, let's do that. Let's delete everything we have here. Oh, except for that stop. Let's keep that stop in there. Delete. Let's select the top button for a minute. Go into the code snippets and let's make that one send us to the next frame and stop. That's the code for that. To the next frame and stop. We'll go just call it next frame. That might be reserved. Nope, next frame's okay. So that button 1 is going to the next frame. So now let's select the other button, highlight it, open the snippets up, and have this one go to the previous frame and stop. And we'll do the same thing here, a little bit of cleanup. This would be good for a slideshow. Each frame could have a picture on it, and you'd be able to go back and forth to the pictures, except you wouldn't be able to loop around without more code. Test the movie. No errors. This sends me to the next frame, and this one takes me back. Now I'm going to remove this last bit of instructions, and I'm going to remove these comments. So all I have is the stop, and I have the button that for the next frame, and in here we have next frame. But I want to show you something that if you haven't got it already, if you haven't caught on, this is the button 2. Highlight it, go to the code snippets again, and go to this previous actions one, and let's do one that says go to web page. It's a good one. Let's do that one again. And if we look at it, here it is. It's button 2. It's go to web page, so we'll leave that go to web page. But in case you haven't caught on, this part here, this layout, except for what's in between these two curly brackets, this and this code here is almost identical. Okay, this is a button being tested for when the mouse clicks it, and it's creating a function. In this case, the function is called next frame, and we're sending to the next frame. Here, the second button is creating a function, and we're going to this URL, which is a page for Flash. So I don't want to use Flash's page, so let's put in here bits by skip. B-I-T-S, oops, B-I-T-S-B-Y-S-K-I-P .ca. So let's give this a try. Make sure it works. This one is the advancing to the next frame. This is the new button, button 2, that sends us to the new URL, bits by skip. And that works. So now, just to show you that they are indeed very much the same, let's take this line from this semicolon, take all that, what's between those two curly brackets, and cut that. Go up here, click at the end of this next frame, paste that in, and cut this. Next frame, make sure you get the whole line, and put that down here. And let's just click this little button here that formats it for us. Now let's test it out, and we'll see the buttons have just changed positions. So now this is the one that'll say frame 2, frame 3. This will say go to the URL, bits by skip. So these code snippets can save you a lot of time, a lot of typing. I hope you learned something from this short tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.